Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. One of the biggest topics around XRP, especially when it comes to Ripple, is the full focus on the cross-border payment industry. Back in November, we actually got an update from the FX Street, and it was titled, Ripple plans to be the torchbearer of the potential $300 trillion cross-border payment industry. Now, for everyone that has been out there following Ripple and XRP for a very long time, you would know that the cross-border payment industry is actually valued, currently speaking, at $156 trillion. But considering the overall growth behind cross-border payments, it is projected to be worth $300 trillion by 2027, which is 3 years from now. Now, as we do focus on that, the cross-border payment industry only continues to grow and grow and grow in value, but the problem is that the technology behind it doesn't innovate. It doesn't change. We're still stuck in antiquated ways around settlement, around payments. And this is where Ripple and XRP really come into play. And, you know, the overall market has been very exciting. Listen, bull and bear cycles, it's going to happen. The bull cycle is obviously where everyone's extremely happy. During the bear market, everyone is frustrated. And even right now, I still see a lot of frustration around XRP. But I also want you guys to understand that, you know, when we look at this space, I treat a lot of these projects in this space as, hey, I'm going to invest in it and I'm going to wait a year or two and make a ton of gains off of it. When it comes to XRP, I personally don't really look at XRP like that. I more so look at XRP in the short term, like obviously, yes, we will hit $5 to $10, which is not great. But the long-term scope of XRP, in my opinion, is where most of the money will be made. And that long-term could be 2 years away, could be 3, could be 5. And that's where XRP hits $50 to $100 plus, and that's where utility actually matters. But to get to that point, we still need to go through all the hurdles, aka the regulatory leaps, the standardization leaps, the implementation. Like, all of this is crucial for XRP's utility price to be realized in. And I think that this is the biggest misconception when it comes to XRP, is like everyone thinks that everything is happening right now and everything's going live and banks are already utilizing XRP, but the price is not moving. What the hell is going on with it? And the problem is that, you know, banks are not using XRP as much as you'd think. Banks want to utilize it at scale, but the problem is regulatory leaps and bounds. Like that's the big issue right now. And once we get over those obstacles like regulations and standardization, it's game over. And that's where everyone that is sitting here complaining and being frustrated, they'll probably already have sold out of their XRP. They probably already sold out of their entire position because we hit $5 or $10. And what comes next is, well, everyone sitting on the sidelines looking at XRP and saying, wow, I didn't know that was going to happen. Even though all of the signs are pointing to it. I look at this as investing into Amazon in the early days. And I know that Ripple and XRP are not the same thing. I think that a lot of people think that, you know, I'm comparing XRP to Amazon stock. Not really, right? Like when we look at what Ripple has been doing around payments and around finance, they are becoming the Amazon of the financial world. And they are pioneering XRP and the XRP ledger for their payment use cases. And even to date, it's still a big focus of theirs. But regardless, there was a great post that got posted by High Vibe Assets over on X, and it was XRP holders take a listen. Cross-border payments is set to reach $300 trillion overnight. The XRP ledger will have massive liquidity rails in every financial jurisdiction. CBDCs will need a bridge, XRP. And check it out.
Is doing. Coming to CBDCs, why I am saying it is very important, because there are several, there are now several new animals or birds, whatever you call them, they're floating around under various names. Somebody calls it stable coins, somebody calls it cryptocurrencies. Our point of view is that let us be very careful in interpreting and understanding what consequences they have. On stable coins, the basic fundamental question that arises is, as the fundamental question that begs an answer is whether governments and central banks are comfortable with private currency. Currency is a sovereign function which the sovereign delegates to the central bank in countries like India. So therefore, are we comfortable with private currency? So therefore, these new technology products which are coming and styling themselves as great innovation, their financial consequences, their negative consequences for domestic financial stability, for global financial stability, for domestic monetary system, for the global monetary order, all that needs to be understood. And we have published, RBI, we have myself spoken about it. So I'm not going to list out what are the potential threats. Right. They pose a threat, all kinds of threats, terror financing, money laundering, apart from, currencies like emerging market currencies, which will sort of cause the central bank itself will lose control over the monetary system. There are lots of challenges, and this can become, these are highly risky. Now, we don't want that kind of a thing. In fact, on such matters, whether it is stablecoin or it is cryptocurrencies or whatever you call it, I think we need to fully understand what are the risks before sort of trying to legitimize them. We need to know before entering the water how many sharks are there inside the water. I think that is how I would put it in a very commonplace language and very bluntly. Now, so therefore CBDC is important. The world is moving towards technology, and CBDCs have a major role because CBDC can really facilitate.
And then on the next slide here, this video continues, and it gives you a little bit more of an insight regarding CBDCs, digital assets, and what they're actually focused on when it comes to the IMF.
Have a major role because CBDC can really facilitate efficient, cost-effective, and faster payments across jurisdictions. For cross-border payments, for cross-border transactions, CBDC can provide the solution. Even today, time is taken. Bank-to-bank transactions do take time. In fact, there is a cost. According to the latest estimates of the World Bank and others, still remittances cost about on an average 6% is the total cost for remittances. Now 6% is very high. It needs to go down. In today's technology era, it needs to go down. So CBDC can provide a solution to make cross-border payments faster, more efficient, and cost effective. In India, Reserve Bank, we started the wholesale CBDC pilot project in November last year, and the retail mode we started in December. In the wholesale, initially we started with secondary market trading in government securities. Now we are extending it to overnight money markets, that is the wholesale segment. In the retail segment, we have now millions of customers who are enrolled into the pilot project. Almost every bank has been onboarded. The trials are going on. It's a learning experience for us. And the learning process has been very satisfactory. And every day there are new challenges which come. We try to understand what is the problem. So we are really taking it forward in a manner. And on this, we are in active discussion also with other countries which are carrying out similar efforts. So now it's just about going to be a year of our 1 year of our CBDC pilot project. The learnings have been excellent, and more than what it was 1 year ago, we are even more convinced that CBDC can prove to be the most effective and efficient mode for cross-border payments in particular, other than, of course, domestic transactions. And this is not something which is very difficult. In fact, in India, we have a small, vegetable vendors who have been enrolled into this CBDC pilot project. Fruit shops, small vegetable vendors, they're all onboarded.
Now, at the end of the day, yeah, he is right. Like that 6% fee, it can't sustain in today's society, especially as we really watch cross-border payments continue to expand in value. I do look at the best-in-class technology, and an image that always comes to mind is this old image where it was comparing the current system to Ripple with XRP, and then Ripple plus XRP with low volatility XRP. Now the question here is, a lot of people think like, oh, well, this is when XRP becomes a stable coin. It's not that. It's not the case like that. I think so many people thought about this and they're like, oh, well, this just means that XRP is going to remain stable at one price and it's not going to continue up in value. That's where everyone is wrong when it comes to this, right? This is clear in terms of how significant the the reduction in cost per transaction is when you are tapping into something with, XRP, for an example, with Ripple. This is night and day. But the way that this works in terms of a low volatility XRP, you have on-demand liquidity or Ripple payments now that it got rebranded. You have mass adoption of that. That layer, I think so many people think that, once you have on-demand liquidity adopted at scale, that means that XRP's value skyrockets. That's not the case. On the other side of those on-demand liquidity transactions, there's no loser. It's just demand for XRP, which what actually happens is instead of the value of XRP actually going up, you have a floor being created from on-demand liquidity. And once you have a lot of that demand, now you're starting to see the supply of XRP being eaten up in terms of that demand. Then you focus on the retail use cases that are thriving on the XRP ledger, and you start to see a lot more of the growth that is happening on the XRP ledger as well. And all of that combined with the on-demand liquidity volume and the value around those transactions as well. Well, now you have a perfect recipe for XRP to become extremely valuable because of that demand. But how close are we to that? We could very well still be a year or two out, maybe 3. We still need regulations. That's the whole focus point. And regulations, just like what we are seeing over here in terms of looking at the risk involved, all of that gets alleviated with regulations. That's why everyone around the XRP community is fully focused on regulations. And I think so many people put a lot of weight on the SEC's back, but the SEC is not the one that's going to regulate this space. It's going to be Congress. But Ripple continues to be committed to cross-border payments, and they have been. They haven't, I see a lot of people saying Ripple's moving away from payments. They're pivoting. They're not. They're continuously focused on cross-border payments still. Back in December, we had Ripple expand global payout coverage of their cross-border payment solution. And then also, back in just February, actually, we have exclusive why Ripple sees cross-border payments as the next crypto chapter. This was back in February. And as we really look at everything, it was fully focused on AI, liquidity management with decentralization. I mean, a lot of this is still the focus today more than ever. And I feel as though so many people are looking at a lot of these things that they're hearing on X or so, and they're saying, that means Ripple's done with XRP. They don't care about XRP. They're pivoting away from payments. It couldn't be any more far from the truth when we're looking at a lot of those posts. Ripple is still fully focused on payments, and XRP is perfectly suitable for that initiative. And when we talk about cross-border payments, guys, tell me another blockchain-based company out there that is on the CPMI group from the BIS, the Central Bank of Central Banks. And big shout out to Anderson for this image, but everyone knows about the CPMI group. What do you think Ripple is doing here? Drinking tea and discussing the weather? No, they're the only actual blockchain-based company on this list as a task force member next to some of the largest players out there regarding the cross-border payments market. I mean, you literally have Swift on here sitting next to Ripple. And you have MasterCard, by the way, which is working with Ripple as well. I mean, it's absolutely insane that a lot of people are still forgetting the facts here. And I even said, people are blind to the facts because of XRP underperforming, because they have a lot of this information that they're seeing and they're like, XRP should be much higher. In my opinion, it doesn't matter right now because we're not in a utility-driven market. We're still in a Bitcoin-driven market. And whether XRP is underperforming or not, long term, that's not even going to be a question. Because once we start to see these things actually go live, which I know that that's hopeful thinking, once we see things go live, that's when XRP goes up in value. But realistically speaking, as we really start to see things go live like that, that's when everything changes around XRP. And that's when everything changes around a lot of these utility projects that I feel as though everyone has these high expectations right now, but we're still very well early. And I think that everyone forgets how early we actually are simply because we're seeing Bitcoin at, almost $70,000. And we're, starting to see a lot of these altcoins going crazy. But think about what has been the biggest gainer in the last couple days. It's been meme coins. Does that sound like we're, late to the party? No, we're still very well early in this. And also remember, right? Ripple has been tied to almost every single major cross-border payments initiative, whether that be the IMF, the Faster Payments Council. They're all working with Ripple. Ripple's involved on every single step of the way, which tells us that Ripple is a leader and a pioneer when it comes to cross-border payments. And when you have something like this, where you are seeing the drop of 60% in terms of a reduction on cost of cross-border payments, that's when things get very, very interesting. And notice the cost on the right side. What's actually contributing to those high costs? You have foreign exchange, currency hedging, treasury operations, liquidity, payment operations, and Basel III. Guess what? When we're talking about liquidity, that's solved with Ripple and XRP. When we're talking about foreign exchange, Ripple now dominates 90% of the FX market, which means when the FX market turns to blockchain and DLT-based settlements, Ripple's already there in 90% of those markets. So think about the prime position Ripple actually is in with XRP. Now again, I'm not here to tell you, hey, invest in XRP. I don't care if you invest into it. I don't care if you sell it. I don't care if you buy it. I don't care what you do. I'm just here to tell you that we are witnessing a major shift in technology. We are on the cusp of a massive change, especially when it comes to cross-border payments. And the entire payment scene, the payment landscape, it's all changing to accommodate for new technology. And that is where, in my opinion, a lot of these projects, like what Ripple is doing with XRP, really shines. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.